On Friday, Elon Musk became a trillionaire. Now, last week, Thursday and Friday, I think I had 2 decent days as an Uber driver. I think I'm on track to make about $47,000 a year. And honestly, $47,000 a year is not enough. But also on Friday, my granddaughter was born, my second one. And holding her this weekend, I think I might be making the wrong comparison. Because yes, the distance between what Elon has in wealth and what I have and what everybody else has in wealth today is enormous. I think the gap between me and the rest of all the other humans that might have ever existed on this planet might be even bigger. Hi, my name is Levi Spires. This is the Tip You in the App Daily Drive podcast. Today's Daily Drive podcast is brought to you by the Gig You app. Now, let's talk about the $47,000 and how I came up with it. On Thursday, I earned $155 in revenue. On Friday, I earned $178 in revenue. Again, both short days. I didn't work a full day, but it was good. I was happy with it. I was online for about 4.5 hours on Thursday and online for almost 6 hours on Friday. So 10 hours, 10.5 hours online. But I also drove, to include my deadhead miles, 317 miles. So the first thing I got to do is take my 317 miles, multiply that by my 30 cents cost per mile. And my 30 cents cost per mile includes electricity for my Tesla. It includes estimated depreciation on my Tesla. And it also includes estimated maintenance and repairs. So that's how I come up with 30 cents per mile. So my total cost for those 2 days was $95. That gives me a profit of $238. Take that 238, divide it by the 10.5 hours, gives me $22 an hour in profitability. And an annualized work year is roughly 2,000 hours. That's how I come up with the $47,000 per year. But like I said, $47,000 a year is just literally not enough for a household. Now, I'm the sole income provider in my family, and I have a wife. I have a child that lives here. I have 2 older children. I have 2 grandchildren now. Now, I don't provide for my 2 older children or my grandchildren, but just putting my household in perspective here. I think to pay my mortgage, food, utilities, insurance, health, liability, auto, all types of insurances, to give money, to save for retirement, save for emergencies, pay for probably a little bit more taxes too. $120,000, $10,000 a month is more aligned with what I would say I need to be making, especially at my age at 50. What I should be making. That $120,000 to me is a healthy middle class lifestyle. Now, Elon Musk, he's the trillionaire, and $1 trillion is incomprehensible. I can't fathom what $1 trillion is. And now I know there are people that are going to tell me, Levi, Elon Musk earned it. And Elon Musk doesn't have $1 trillion in the bank. He can't go spend $1 trillion. I'm not going to dispute that. I'm just trying to compare his life of $1 trillion and my life with 47,000 or even 120,000 or whatever the number is. And it's the gap between those worlds is, like I say, it's incomprehensible. I don't understand it. But it's natural for us to do that as humans, to look at wealthy people and go, look what they have. I've been into the NBA recently. I enjoyed the finals. I was cheering for the Knicks, I was cheering for the Spurs, not the Knicks, but man, the Knicks won. Good for them. It was fine. And you look at the ticket prices to go see the Knicks and the Spurs in the NBA finals there in Madison Square Garden. You see the celebrities right there, right courtside, and the wealth, the entertainment of their life compared to mine. And honestly, you start to, I do, get jealous and envious. Now, I don't want to look at it that way though. I want to do a different test. A couple of times a year, maybe not a couple times a year, but I do travel to go visit my parents who live down in Georgia. Now, I live near Syracuse, New York. I live about an hour away from the airport at Syracuse, New York. And my parents live about an hour, hour and a half away from the Atlanta airport south of in South Georgia. For me to go visit my parents is typically a couple of airline tickets, two, three, four, sometimes. Who depends on who goes, and it's a hassle. I have to save money for it. It's not cheap for me to fly. Two, three, $400, $500 per person. To save money, we don't bring our bags with us. It's just carry-ons only. We typically have a connection, like I fly from Syracuse to Charlotte to Atlanta or something like that. Um, we sit in the back of the plane. We get the cheapest tickets we possibly can. You have to leave my house and drive for about an hour to get to the airport. And then from there, you have to sit at the airport for an hour, even longer. The planes can get delayed. I'll be lucky if I get a bag of peanuts. And when I arrive in Georgia, I meet my parents and we drive south, and it takes about an hour. So it's like a day long trip. And I think about that comparison to Elon Musk, the trillionaire. What is he doing to travel? Well, if he left my house to go to my parents' house, he'd probably go right up the street where there is enough space for a helicopter to land. And he's probably going to get on that helicopter and fly for 5 or 10 minutes to there's a local airport where private jets fly in and out of at Hamilton, New York. That's where Colgate University is. It's probably a 5 or 10 minute helicopter flight. He gets there. When he lands, the private jet, the engines are already running. Like that plane is ready to take off. He gets out of the helicopter onto the private jet, handed some champagne, I assume, puts the seat in recline. It takes an hour to fly, maybe to that remote airport near my parents' house. And he can meet my parents there. And it's like such a difference in travel. I just want to, again, that's the whole idea of this podcast is I'm trying to compare the two. And my life to get to my parents' house, it's a hassle. I mean, flying is not a luxury anymore. And here he is, a helicopter to private jet. He's probably doing meetings on the flight, drinking champagne. It's an amazing life that he has. And it feels unfair. I'll be honest about it. It does feel unfair. And you think, why does he get to live that luxury life and I don't? Now, I'm not saying whether he earned it or not or anything like that. That's a podcast for another day. Just people with a lot of money compared to me, that comparison, not just be honest with you, it feels unfair. And I have to work hard as an Uber driver just to barely scrape by. Now, let's zoom out. This summer is America's 250th anniversary. 1776, when the nation was formed. Let's compare my life to the people that lived there. The people that lived 250 years ago, they had to, if they wanted to go from New York, Syracuse to Georgia, that's a really tough trip. They might take a 2 or 3 day trip from Syracuse on horseback, walking or whatever, all the way down to New York City, get on some sort of boat, I would assume, travel down to Savannah, then from Savannah, take another horse carriage ride of some kind. I don't know what it was like, but into South Georgia. No air conditioning, miserable travel conditions, especially if you were like me, a working class person. That's a tough trip. If they went from Syracuse, they didn't get on the boat, they just traveled down that way, it could be treacherous. Bandits on the road. If they went west, going west over the Appalachians out toward the Pacific, that's a one-way trip. People die. People died all the time expanding out to the west. Not to mention, obviously, there was slavery during that time. The Native Americans, it's just, what a difference between my life and theirs. And you're probably like, well, Levi, that was 250 years ago. I think even my life today, my ability to have an iPhone, air conditioning, multiple cars. I live in a safe neighborhood. My life is amazing compared to people even 100 years ago. 100 years ago, a lot of homes didn't even have running toilets or electricity. Like, this is all modern. Flight is modern. Like, it's just now happening. I'm not saying that Elon should keep all that money or whatever. I think he should. It's his money. And I just want to say the gap between me and Elon, or you and Elon, or Elon and everybody else on this planet, while it is a big gap, it's an enormous gap. And there are potential problems with one person having that wealth and buying power through the government and stuff like that. There are problems. But in relative comparison between his life and my life, compared to my life and everybody else on this planet, it's hard to say that my life is that bad. In fact, a couple of years ago, I went to Barnes & Noble. And while I was there at Barnes & Noble, I read this book, and a book from one sitting. It was a book about a man who escaped a North Korean prison camp. And it was so captivating that I just sat there in Barnes & Noble for 2 or 3 or 4 hours, and I read the book from cover to cover. I bought the book, but then I got out of that Barnes & Noble and I went to a grocery store, Wegmans up here, Wegmans. And when I entered the grocery store, the sheer volume of apple choices that I had, there was like 15 different apples, red ones and gala and green apples. I don't know all the different types of apples. And then just that grocery store. And here's somebody in a North Korean prison camp eating tree bark and bugs and insects to live. And I can go into a grocery store and buy an amazing amount of food for, even with inflation, still a pretty good price point. My granddaughter was born on Friday, the same day that Elon Musk and SpaceX went IPO and he got his $1 trillion. My granddaughter was born. And nobody needs $1 trillion to experience that. The elation of seeing my daughter, I have a 7-year-old granddaughter, and she's getting to see her granddaughter for the first time. My son-in-law, and just proud father moment. I think about spending time with my 2 sons. Next week is going to be Father's Day. We're going to play golf together, and family, love, dinners together. You don't need $1 trillion for that. So when I compare myself to Elon Musk, I feel poor. And when I compare myself to all of human history, I feel rich. I'm not saying that money doesn't matter. And I do need to make more money. $47,000 a year is not good. Uber should be paying Uber drivers more. We should get a bigger chunk of the fare. There's a lot of problems there. And I work really hard for that $47,000. If you're an Uber driver, you know what I mean. I guess what I'm getting at with all of this is gratitude. I live in an amazing time, in an amazing country, in an amazing place. I have a beautiful family. We all have our health. Yes, more money would be good, but it's not going to solve any problems that I might have. And in fact, my life is pretty amazing, and I should be grateful for what I have. How do you feel about Elon's trillions? Let me know in the comments. Hey, drivers for 2026. I hope you have days like I had last week. Hopefully you make more money than me, because I know the money wasn't great, but I just enjoyed myself. I had 2 days where I enjoyed every single passenger ride, had great conversations, made good tips. I was happy with it, and it was fun. The sun was out, beats the winter that we have up here. That's what I'm trying to do for 2026. I'm trying to earn money, but get back to Uber driving the way I used to have it, as a fun way to make money, as a good side hustle. I want you to be safe, healthy, and happy. Check out the sponsors, Red Tiger, Gig You. They're really helping the channel. But yeah, drivers, I want you to know that I am cheering for you. Be well, be safe. Bye. Bye.